Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Chelsea versus Newcastle preview. The first of two clashes against Newcastle. We play them obviously next week, midweek in the Cup, in the very important Carabao Cup. But first of all, Premier League duties we must pursue and conquer. And this clash is going to be massive because we know we need to win. I feel a little bit of pressure on that. You know, needing to win. We know we have Manchester United away next. We have Arsenal after that. And they're two fixtures where, you know, the record recently hasn't been great and the pressure will be on those games as well. So I think it's very important we get back to winning ways, especially against a Newcastle team that have not had a win in the last four. They've been in a bit of a rough patch of form after a decent start to the season. It's kind of pushed them back down into mid-table. And Eddie Howe is under a bit of pressure. You know, there's some murmurs around in the Newcastle corners that this guy, we don't know if he's going to be in that hot seat for very long. And I like Jason Cundy's recommendation of Jose Mourinho. I'd love to see Jose Mourinho at Newcastle. Now, is he the person to take them to the tippity top? Is he the guy to obviously get them back to the creme de la creme? But if I could have Jose Mourinho back in the Premier League, I'm taking it. And for a team like Newcastle, please, big figure, big name, big opportunity for both, you know, for him as well. So I would love that, but you know, I'm rambling, I'm waffling. Let's get into Chelsea. I haven't really seen a press conference. I don't know what's going on. It's Friday. I was waiting for the press conference. At the time of recording, there's been no press conference. Chelsea have not scheduled a press conference. So I'm just going to just keep it stepping. I hope when you watch this, there isn't any extra injury news. We have a fully fit team ready to compete. And I'm excited. What we saw tactically against Panathinaikos was fresh, something different, something new. Enzo playing in this kind of Regista position with Cucurella and Dewsbury Hall either side. We'll get into that in the tactic pad part of the video. So I'm actually quite interested to see if this could be replicated in the A team, you know, in the Premier League team. But like I said, we just got to do our job. We got to get a win here. It's very important. And Maresca and his men just trying to get back into that top four and be right with Aston Villa is the key here. We don't want to be cut adrift. We don't want to fall behind. We don't want to be roped into a, you know, Mud Brothers proceedings with Manchester United. And like I said, the fixtures coming up are still very difficult, at least from a historical standpoint. We know Man United are washed, but we still actually have to go there and prove it. So yeah, this game, Newcastle, Isak, He's kind of been cold recently, and I mean quiet, really, not cold Palmer, you know, not really been smoking up the place. So again, hopefully we can keep him quiet. A clean sheet would be very appreciated. Obviously, we could have had one midweek, but we kind of got complacent. And what I'm fearing is that Newcastle might put up a stinky low block as well because they're low on confidence, because they haven't really been getting results. They lost to Brighton last week. And Joe Linton, if you guys remember the Man City game where they drew, there was some great analysis on Joe Linton being basically three players in one. He was doing the Gusto role almost. He was playing as a, you know, box crashing 8. He was playing as a, of course, midfielder, and then the third man in a back 3 to make it a 5 across the back line. And we know Eddie Howe at times, especially last season Champions League, he can go to, you know, big grounds and stink up the place with the dirtiest low block you've ever seen. I remember them doing the Emirates and many other times. And obviously Murphy on that right wing, who I'm thinking may start over an adventurous, maybe Barnes. Maybe he'll come off the bench, but he does work his bollocks off and get back and track his runners, and it can quickly become a 5. The midfield is very physical for Newcastle, so as much as technically I think we're going to have some fun, hopefully, I think we're gonna dominate proceedings in terms of possession. Physically, Newcastle have bodies. You know, they got Fabian Sarr, who's good for a goal. They've got, you know, Burn, Guimaraes, Joe Linton, Tonali, Isak in the air. They got enough people in the air. Even Livramento is quite tall. You know, he's quite a presence. It's a lot. It's a lot of bodies. So his set pieces is my main concern, as it always is, because I don't want to try and find things to be worried about. I can just keep saying the same thing. I'll be honest. That's my main concern, as it always is, because we rank where we rank for it, and we keep proving that it's a problem for us. Even against Panathinaikos in the first 5 minutes, you know, Jorginho had to make a great save off a set piece from a header. So it is just an ongoing issue, and until it goes away, I'm just going to keep bringing it up, because that's the biggest problem we have. Everything else, I'm, you know, pretty happy with the progress. So let's talk tactical, because what a performance against Panathinaikos. And And can that lead into this team? Is there anybody in that game from Thursday that can break into this Newcastle team? I'm looking at Mudryk mainly, man of the match. You know, Sancho, not the greatest performance against Liverpool. There's a potential back and forth that can begin there if Mudryk can keep playing the way he's playing. He's had a couple of cameos before the international break, comes in against Panathinaikos from the start, produces a great performance, two assists and a goal. And the fact that he was crashing the box at the back post to get that header, that's something that I like in a winger, especially on the opposite flank. Get numbers into the box. How many times have I said, you know, we don't get enough numbers into the box when we're in wide areas? Decision making is not just about picking, you know, a player out. It's actually having multiple options to pick out in the first place and not just Jackson. So can we get, you know, a Mudryk or a Sancho in the back post in the box to kind of clean up anything that's left over, especially when Palmer's making those passes from deep at times? That will be interesting to see. But who else? Who will play at fullback? Will it be Gusto? Will it be Reece James? Will it be Cucurella? Those are the three kind of contesting. I was very impressed with Renato Vega in the back three. Enzo Fernandez, could he, you know, contest with Lavia or Caicedo? Who's going to play? But let's get into the tactical pad and then we can discuss who can swap in for who and how this can all play out. Okay, so we're on the tactical pad as always, and I'm going to try and keep it sharp, short and sweet, but I'm excited to discuss this because in the game against Panathinaikos, we all got to see this 3-3-4 or 3-3-2-2. Basically, we had a front two of Felix and Nkunku. I've been banging on the drum that Nkunku's better as a second striker, as part of a two, as opposed to being on his own, where he can be quite isolated or he can be quite disjointed. I don't think his back to, you know, goal play is at Jackson's level to be an outlet. So I'd like to have him someone close to link up to. And I think Felix provided that. Felix was dropping deep into midfield. He was picking up the ball, driving with it. Then he would actually run beyond Nkunku and make runs, win the header for obviously Mudryk to make that run in behind. And it was just really fun to just watch everybody linking up and basically having an extra body in the box as well. When Felix scores that goal, he's in the box. We know Nkunku was the official striker. It's just an extra man in the box. And at times when we were really free-flowing and enjoying our football, we were committing so many bodies to the box. Even Disasi was getting involved. So I do like to see that. Now, trying to make it more realistic to what we're going to see against Newcastle, obviously there's some 18 players that are going to have to come in. Colwell, I'm sure, will come in for Badiashile. As good as Badiashile was, I'm sure Colwell will come back in to try and get over that incident against Liverpool where the penalty was given and try and get back to his brilliant best. Will we see Tosin come back in for Disasi? Or will it be Fofana? I'm sure Tosin's performance against Liverpool hasn't necessarily put him in great stead. So I'm going to say that, yeah, I'm going to say Fofana goes in there. If I can find him, there he is. I'm going to put Fofana in there. I think as a wide centre-back, defending in wide areas when you need pace, Fofana's the guy to go with. Now, Reece James, could he be involved? So how do we get all these guys in? Now, I don't think Renato Vega's going to play, so let's get him out of there. Now I'm moving Colwell across and I'm putting James in there. There's two options here. Two options. So just keeping this 3-3-4 for a second. We could either bring in James into the midfield and go that way with Cucurella going into the three. Ignore Dewsbury Hall for a second. He won't be involved. Caicedo will come in and we'll talk about Enzo in a minute. But we could go like that. Or we could swap it back the other way and we can go Reece James and Cucurella in the midfield. Now, which way is the better way to go? Colwell against Liverpool, struggling a bit in wide areas, you know, and that's putting it politely. When Salah had his little 10-15 minute spell where he was really getting onto him, Colwell was not enjoying these wide areas as much. I think Colwell's best when he's in the middle of the back three, playing like Badiashile, almost able to just kind of put his foot on the ball, be a bit cocky, pick his passes, you know, kind of just have fun with the possession and not have to focus on defending wingers and you know, basically having to chase shadows. And he's just not that type of defender. But when he gets to play his passes through the lines, I think he's brilliant. Him and Badiashile was really good, obviously, against Panathinaikos, but Colwell has demonstrated some serious ball playing ability this season. So I would like to see Colwell in the middle of a three if we go with that, and not necessarily in the wide area up against, even if it is Murphy. I mean, Murphy's not the most tricky winger you'll ever see, but he has got pace. And I think Cucurella, I mean, I don't even need to think. Cucurella is the better option out there in the wide position. He's just brilliant 1v1 at the moment. He's a dog. He's assertive. He's on point. And obviously Reece James will go back into a 4 when he has to, but he can step into these areas. And I spoke about this before, the kind of Aspilicueta position for Reece James, where he can make these kind of crosses from deep. He can, you know, if we move him up a little bit and we say, right, Reece James, you can be an 8. We saw in midweek, Cucurella was playing as an 8. He was playing as a fullback. He was playing as a winger. He was on the right wing pressing. He was everywhere. If you give Reece James that kind of freedom and you allow him to kind of come into these, I guess, 8 zones, the crossing potential for Reece James to just say, I'm going to whip this ball in from this side here. I haven't mastered this pad, but he's going to whip in some crosses, or he's going to even take some shots. I've said that before, you know. I'm down to see that from Reece James. So, listen, I don't know if he's as good as Cucurella doing it, because obviously Cucurella has more kind of fitness right now. He's got the durability is what I'm looking for, that word. He's got more durability than James. So maybe James can't do that, because against Liverpool, he literally just decided to play in that back 3. I understand that decision from Maresca to just play him in the back 3, to not ask him to get up and down and be on the flank and, you know, exert himself too much. That will be whether, you know, that will be dependent on whether Maresca feels he's capable of doing that role. But long term, if we can get to a point where that happens, I think he has the potential, Reece James, to be better than Cucurella in that position, even though he was fantastic, because Cucurella is a great defender, first and foremost, and Reece James is a great defender, but he's a better shooter than Cucurella, a better crosser. And if you're asking me who do I want even getting the ball for a long shot in an 8 position in midfield, I'm looking at Reece James and I'm licking my lips, because he has the attacking quality to play that role to another level. So yeah. Now, Enzo's obviously played in this Regista position. That could easily be Lavia that plays that role, and I think he'd do a great job. So I don't know. I mean, listen, I was really happy with Enzo's kind of recovery in that game against Panathinaikos. I'm not saying that now Enzo's definitely going to start. I don't really know. Depends on what the manager wants, or how he feels Lavia is, or how he feels he wants to go with Enzo. It's really up to him in that regard, right? We'll see how he goes. But that could be, now, we might not even play this formation, guys. This was just what we played against Panathinaikos, but I'm just kind of just trying to bring it to the first team for a second, just to see if it could work. Lavia in there with Caicedo, we got a great pivot, and then, yeah, it's very easy to just move everybody across and you get James back. Now, the only thing here is that obviously, yes, Gordon, you are going 3v3 potentially. Murphy, if they do hit us on the break, Isak, Gordon, that is a bit dangerous. And that's where Reece James does have to get back into position, or Lavia or Caicedo. We defend with the 5. But those guys, you know, they got to be wary of the fact that, yeah, it is 3v3 and it is 1v1. But yeah, if we take it back to how it normally is, then you can go down this route. And of course, you can invert Cucurella as we always do, and we can go that way as well. So everybody's quite positionally versatile. I just think Reece James, long-term, as a further, if we can get him back to getting forward, we're gonna be living life to another level. Now, let's go to the attackers quickly before... Oh, where are you going? 1 second. Tactical Pad's done a runner. Let's get back to the forwards for a moment. So we've got Jackson, who's definitely coming back into this team. I'd say Nkuku's coming out, Palmer's coming in, and Felix coming out as well. So that's kind of your front 2. And then the wingers... I'm sure everybody doesn't really mind too much. Neto wasn't the best in the first half. Second half, then he started improving, and he got an assist, obviously, really good cross on the right foot. Be really nice if we had a striker that was brilliant in the air, because I think we could take advantage of Neto's best quality, which seems to be his crossing on either foot at the moment. His shooting is still not doing it for me at the moment, still very scuffed. And Mudryk, it's him or Sancho, obviously, on that left wing, but they can both switch it up and go there. So, yeah, just a little taste of what we were doing against Panathinaikos, how it would look if you put the A team there. And obviously, at this point, you could potentially consider Mudryk or Neto as part of that A team if you wanted to. But yeah, interesting situation. So let me know what you think in the comments down below of the Reece James Cucurella thing in particular, because I feel like that's quite an interesting dynamic. Okay, so there we are on the tactical pad. That was just basically how it could be if we were to stick with the same system, which got the best out of Enzo in that Regista spot, but I'm pretty sure him and Lavia would love to play that press resistant, but, you know, orchestrating type role. But Enzo's long range switches were fantastic in that game, and he was really loving life and balling out. I think he actually liked an Instagram comment saying that, you know, they finally got him in his position. Can he play that position in the Premier League when we're going up against better teams who are going to transition a lot faster, a lot better, a lot quicker? Obviously, it depends on who gets around him with the support. That's why I kind of do like that 3 and that 3, because it's just like a block and you're not isolated, you're not on your own, everything's close quarters, but you have to see it in the Premier League against better opposition as well before you really say that it's something that Enzo can, you know, be making his own as his own position. But yeah, very interesting. And yeah, my prediction for this game, I'm going to go with a 3-1 win. It's tough to back us for a clean sheet at the moment because we would just always find a way to concede some sort of goal. But outside of that, I do think we'll win this game. We do have to win this game. I will be nervous because Newcastle, they are due a win and they do need these points just as much as we do. I just have to hope that the quality that we've shown kind of showcases against Newcastle, keep creating chances, go back to getting our goals and basically punch for punch and winning that fight. So we'll see how it goes. But big up your damn selves. Make sure you smash up the likes, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time in a bit, people. Peace.